Hi, and welcome to part 4 of an 11-part series on the ninth grade opportunity, where we've been talking about how if a high school properly transitions its freshmen, it can transform itself from the bottom up. Today we're going to talk about standardized expectations, so let's move along to part 4. We've been looking at this bubble chart, and what we said last time is that this centerpiece, student-centered team common planning, is really the most important piece of this chart. Everything hinges off of a team of teachers meeting together. But then each of these bubbles that moves around that centerpiece, each of these represents an area that a school must focus on and come up with its own strategies for dealing with if it's going to properly transition freshmen. One of the most important of these bubbles then is standardized expectations. It's very important that a school find a proper way to standardize expectations for freshmen. Now, there's a couple things that come to mind when you think about standardizing expectations. One is if you're a teacher, you might start thinking, well, do we have to do everything the same just because we're on a team together? The answer is no. There needs to be room for autonomy on a team. You can't do everything the same in an English class that you do in a math class or that you do in a health class. But however, a lot of the things that we hold on to just for our own personal reasons, but really they're not necessarily the only way to do things. To be part of a team, you need to be someone who can reach consensus. And then once you're on that team, you need to work to reach consensus and define what things can we do together. And I will tell you, the more things you standardize, the more effective that you will be. You can change the image of a teacher. Think of it this way. Imagine if you're the only teacher with the expectation that students will have homework every night. Well, then you're a big jerk. But if all the teachers have that expectation, then we're all jerks together. That's just the way it's done. We call this the power of 4. One teacher, or even 4 teachers having expectations but not communicating them together in the same way with one voice to students, it's disjointed, and kids begin to play one teacher against another and try to find a wedge and see what they can get away with. But if the same expectations exist for what happens when the bell rings in class, for how homework is handled, for a do now assignment or a bell ringer, for how you pass up papers in a classroom, when you have these sort of expectations in common, then the teacher becomes much more powerful in the eyes of the students, as students realize, ooh, I can't get away with this. This is just the way it's done. But also, we take away a stumbling block that's in the way of our students. We, in an effort to kind of hold kids to high standards and to get kids to do things, we have all these little standards and these ideas and these expectations, but they change from class to class. And too often students go to one class and they have to put the name on the paper here, and then they go to another class and have to put the name on the paper in another spot. And then in one class you can use pencils, in another class you can't use pens, but you can use whichever you want. Or this one you have to use pens, and it just gets kind of confusing for a kid. And we wonder why they have a hard time following our expectations. Well, maybe if we standardize them, they'd be a little easier to follow. So not only will we make it easier for our students to transition into school by standardizing expectations, but we can actually have higher expectations because we have the power of 4. Because all of us are together on the same page, we are now able to raise the bar and expect more from our students, back each other up, and then get more out of our students. And that's what it's all about, is getting the most out of our students. I'm Scott Habib, and along with Ray Moore, we are Solutions Etc. We hope you'll contact us if you have any questions. We thank you for listening to this video clip, and we hope to hear from you in the future and hope you enjoy the remaining pieces of this video series.